Why was reincarnation banned from the Bible? Have you ever wondered if reincarnation, the idea of the soul's rebirth, was once part of Christianity? There is evidence and rumors suggesting that this concept may have appeared in ancient texts but was later removed by religious decrees. So what happened, and why is a concept so common in many religions absent from the Bible? The concept of reincarnation in Antiquity. To trace the connection between reincarnation and early Christianity, we must first journey through the wisdom of ancient civilizations. Long before Christ walked the earth, the concept of reincarnation wove through the teachings of priests, philosophers, and mystics across the world. In ancient Egypt, for instance, reincarnation appeared in the sacred texts known as the Book of the Dead. This collection depicted the soul's journey after death, where it was judged and might either move on to a new life or remain in spiritual realms. For the Egyptians, death marked merely a transition in an ongoing journey, and the soul, seen as a timeless traveler, returned as often as needed to reach harmony. On another continent, along the banks of the Ganges, reincarnation was also essential to Hindu beliefs as described in the Vedic texts written around 1500 BCE. Here, the concept of samsara emerged, the endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Souls, bound by karma, journeyed through lifetimes, each action shaping future existences until achieving moksha, or liberation from the material world. The journey was one of learning and refining, with each lifetime providing an opportunity for growth. Ancient Greece offered its own interpretation, especially through thinkers like Pythagoras and Plato. Pythagoras taught that the soul was immortal, reborn many times, ascending through the cosmos toward perfection. Plato shared this belief. In Phaedo, he recounts Socrates' view of the soul's journey, where pure souls rose to higher realms, while others, still learning, returned to earth. This reincarnation cycle was seen as a divine tool for soul improvement, each life a new chapter in the cosmic book of personal evolution. The question arises, if reincarnation was so embedded in these ancient cultures, did early Christianity once embrace it too? And if so, why did the modern church come to reject it? Some scholars suggest that early Christian beliefs may have included elements of reincarnation before the institutionalization of doctrine. Perhaps early Christian views on the soul's journey were closer to those of these ancient traditions than we commonly think today. Early Christianity and reincarnation. In the early centuries following Christ's death, Christianity was far from the structured religion it would later become. There was no official Bible or central authority to enforce a uniform doctrine. Instead, Christian communities across the Roman Empire each interpreted Jesus' teachings in their own way, engaging deeply with existential questions and exploring diverse spiritual ideas. These early Christians had a fluid worldview, open to beliefs that transcended a single lifetime. They saw the human soul as eternal, capable of existing beyond the constraints of one physical life. During this time, reincarnation was a natural subject of contemplation among certain Christian thinkers, influenced by broader spiritual traditions. The idea that the soul might return to earth in new forms after death became part of a conversation about the journey of the soul through time, a continuous process of growth and purification. One of the most influential Christian thinkers who openly embraced this view was Origen of Alexandria, a theologian and mystical philosopher deeply versed in the esoteric traditions of Egypt, Greece, and the Middle East. Origen saw the soul as an eternal creation, journeying through cycles of life and death. In his work De Principiis on First Principles, Origen explained that the soul, after leaving the body, might return in a new incarnation to continue its spiritual evolution. For him, reincarnation was a process by which the soul purifies and refines itself, drawing ever closer to unity with the divine. Origen considered each life a necessary opportunity for growth, where experiences shaped and strengthened the soul. His view was that souls come into each new life fortified by past victories or burdened by past defeats, underscoring a cosmic justice that resonated with ancient spiritual philosophies. Importantly, Origen did not see reincarnation as a punishment, but as a means for the soul to achieve eternal wisdom. He felt that reincarnation aligned with Christian themes of redemption and purification. In his view, The soul's journey through multiple lives allowed it to intimately understand eternity and divine truth, a process of growth that could bring it closer to God. This perspective of reincarnation as a pathway to divine harmony gradually faded as Christianity formalized its doctrine. But in those early centuries, reincarnation was not necessarily foreign to Christian belief. Rather, it was seen by thinkers like Origen as a complementary path to the Christian message of salvation and spiritual evolution. The Council of Constantinople and the Exile of Reincarnation. During the early centuries of Christianity, the faith evolved by absorbing diverse spiritual and philosophical ideas. Reincarnation was one such topic, discussed by some early Christian thinkers, though it was never universally accepted. However, by the 6th century, a pivotal event, the Second Council of Constantinople, dramatically altered Christianity's stance on reincarnation. This council, convened under the directive of Emperor Justinian and Empress Theodora, formally banished reincarnation from official doctrine. This move was driven as much by political motives as by theological ones, marking a turning point in Christian history. Justinian, known for his intolerance of dissent, sought to consolidate Christianity under a single, unified set of beliefs. This unity would reinforce the Church's authority, which was vital for maintaining order across his empire. Reincarnation posed a challenge to this agenda. The doctrine implied that souls could achieve purity and union with the divine independently over multiple lives, rather than through a single institutionalized path to salvation. This notion undermined the Church's role as the exclusive intermediary for redemption. For Justinian and Theodora, reinforcing the concept of a single lifetime heightened the urgency for believers to adhere strictly to church doctrines, thus solidifying the clergy's authority over spiritual destiny. The Second Council of Constantinople in 553 AD was Justinian's tool to enforce this vision. The council gathered bishops and theologians, particularly from the Christian East, along with key figures such as Patriarch Eutychius of Constantinople, who presided over the council, and Bishop Vigilius of Rome, who initially resisted but ultimately submitted to imperial pressure. The council condemned the teachings of Origen of Alexandria, the foremost early Christian proponent of reincarnation, declaring his views incompatible with official doctrine. In a set of formal anathemas against Origen, his teachings, including reincarnation, were labeled heretical. Personal motivations also influenced this decision. Theodora, Justinian's wife, had experienced poverty and social stigma in her early life as an actress and prostitute, which had instilled in her a fear of reincarnation, a fear of returning to such hardships. Her support for the doctrine's condemnation combined with Justinian's desire for doctrinal unity to promote the belief that each soul had only one life to secure its salvation. By eliminating reincarnation, Justinian reinforced the idea that salvation was immediate and only achievable through unwavering obedience to church teachings. This doctrine placed the church firmly as the essential mediator of salvation, dissuading believers from ideas that allowed independent spiritual evolution. The pressure was so intense that even the most resistant figures ultimately confirmed, whether out of fear or pragmatic choice. Thus, the council's decree against Origen and his teachings erased reincarnation from the framework of Christian orthodoxy, reshaping the Church's control over believers' spiritual lives. Biblical passages with references to reincarnation. For many, the Bible is seen as the unaltered Word of God. However, some argue that hints of reincarnation can be found within its pages, suggesting it may have once been an accepted belief in early Christianity. Over time, these interpretations may have been sidelined to conform to evolving church doctrines. Several passages are often cited by those who believe reincarnation was originally part of the faith, including verses where Jesus himself offers insights that seem to align with the concept. One prominent example is found in Matthew 17 verses 10 to 13. After Jesus' transfiguration, his disciples ask about the prophecy that Elijah would come before the Messiah. Jesus replies that Elijah has indeed already come, referring to John the Baptist as the fulfillment of this prophecy. This response implies that John the Baptist embodies the spirit or essence of Elijah, suggesting a continuity of the soul across lifetimes. For early Christians, this likely carried a clear message that reincarnation was an accepted reality, as Jesus speaks without hesitation about Elijah's return. Another passage, John 9 verses 1 to 2 further explores this idea. When the disciples encounter a man born blind, they ask Jesus, "Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" This question implies the possibility of sin from a prior life. How else could the man have sinned before birth? This question indicates that the disciples may have believed in a soul's history beyond one earthly life. Jesus does not dismiss their question as misguided. Instead, he responds that the man's blindness is not due to sin, but rather to provide an opportunity for God's works to be revealed. This exchange suggests an understanding that the soul could carry experiences from previous lifetimes. Finally, in John 3 verses 3 to 7, Jesus tells Nicodemus, "Truly, truly, I say to you, unless one is born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God." Nicodemus, puzzled, asks if a person could re-enter their mother's womb. Jesus clarifies by speaking of a spiritual birth, rebirth essential to spiritual evolution. While traditionally interpreted as a metaphor for conversion, some scholars suggest that Jesus' words could hint at reincarnation, describing the soul's progression through multiple lives as it grows and purifies. These passages have been reinterpreted over time to align with Orthodox Christian teachings. But for those who study early Christian beliefs and ancient cultural influences, these verses may contain hints of reincarnation, suggesting that early Christianity had a more expansive view of the soul's journey, one that embraced the possibility of multiple lives for spiritual growth. The role of reincarnation in modern spirituality. The doctrine of reincarnation, though historically suppressed in various Western traditions, has resurfaced strongly in modern spirituality, resonating with those seeking deeper purpose and understanding. In today's fast-paced world, where the pressure for instant success often eclipses the journey of inner growth, reincarnation offers a compassionate perspective on life, a path of ongoing learning and soul evolution. For many in modern spirituality, reincarnation isn't just a question of what happens after death. It's a lens through which to understand the human experience, suggesting that each life is a unique opportunity for growth, purification, and self-discovery. Unlike the traditional Christian view, which emphasizes salvation within a single lifetime, reincarnation presents a gentler, more patient approach to soul development. It contrasts with doctrines of eternal damnation or everlasting rest, suggesting instead that the soul continually evolves, refining itself across lifetimes. Reincarnation re-entered Western consciousness through encounters with Eastern philosophies, particularly Hinduism and Buddhism, where reincarnation is central to spiritual growth. Thinkers like Alan Watts, the Dalai Lama, and gurus like Swami Vivekananda brought these ideas to the West, highlighting reincarnation as part of a process of liberation and self-awareness. In these traditions, karma, one's actions, shapes not only the current life but also future lives, fostering a profound sense of responsibility and interconnectedness. This perspective gradually found fertile ground in Western thought, where reincarnation and karma transformed from exotic concepts into foundational ideas for reflection. Beyond philosophy, reincarnation has also been explored within modern psychology. Dr. Ian Stevenson, a psychiatrist and professor at the University of Virginia, dedicated his life to researching children who recalled detailed memories of past lives. His studies unearthed compelling evidence, with children describing names, places, and events from the lives of deceased individuals they'd never met, details later verified by researchers. This line of inquiry was furthered by therapists like Brian Weiss, who used past life regression techniques to help individuals resolve traumas, phobias, and emotional blocks that seemed unrelated to their present life. Transpersonal psychology, which considers the influence of past life experiences on the psyche, views reincarnation not merely as a philosophical concept, but as a potential framework for understanding the continuity of consciousness. In this view, memories from past lives, whether conscious or unconscious, might shape the present psyche and impact mental well-being. Reincarnation thus remains one of life's great existential questions, a mystery that both inspires and challenges us. For some, the idea of multiple lives offers a key to spiritual growth and self-understanding, presenting the soul as an eternal pilgrim seeking truth. For others, it conflicts with the more finite perception of human existence. Ultimately, Reincarnation is not a doctrine to be accepted or rejected without introspection. It invites each individual to explore what resonates within, to seek answers that illuminate the path to inner peace. In the end, whether our essence is part of an eternal cycle of rebirths or a single breath on earth, what matters most is how we live now, with purpose, compassion, responsibility, and a heart full of love. Regardless of the mysteries that lie beyond, the present moment remains the true stage for growth and connection. What about you? Do you believe in reincarnation or rebirth? Is it possible that we only live once in this world? Don't forget to hit subscribe to catch future videos. Or, if you have time, feel free to explore more videos on this channel.